Joining us now is the television voice of the Atlanta Hawks, Bob Rathbun. And Bob, thanks so much for joining us. And let's talk a little bit about the plan to return and where it stands right now.
Well, Fred, it's very optimistic. At least those are the reports that we're getting today after the events of yesterday, when there were all kinds of Board of Governors meetings and player reps and the Players Association all coming out with the basic feeling that they want to resume the season. How, when, why, where, we still don't know when it's going to be safe to do that. But so far, brother, fingers crossed, it looks like there are some encouraging movement in this. And I know all Hawks fans and all NBA fans are excited about that.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. What kind of season can we have? What do you think we can salvage out of this?
Well, from what the commissioner has told us, Fred, that they do want to have a conclusion to the regular season in some form or fashion, whether that is playing out the rest of the games. The Hawks have 15 left, or just go right to the some sort of minimized regular season. But they do want to get some more games in the regular year and then have a full and complete postseason. Now, where that's going to happen and how that's going to happen, we don't know yet, but that's their intent. They want to try to keep this as true to the season as they can. I do think that one thing that's on the NBA's side is time. We're pretty portable. You know, we can move to Vegas and or to Orlando or wherever they want us to play and push it back far enough that we can get in the rest of the regular season and the playoffs, because there is momentum, I think, building to start next season, the 2021 campaign, toward Christmas. And if they can do that, they'll buy themselves even more time, Fred, so we can get fans back in the stands. You know, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be closing in on a vaccine for this awful thing. And if that happens, then maybe we can start getting fans back in the building like the old days. And if we push the start of next season back to Christmas, maybe we can pull that off. That's our hope.
You know, and that's the whole thing, is that it doesn't matter where you play now. I want to say it doesn't matter, but you don't need a big arena because there won't be fans, correct?
Correct. And I think it'll all be done on site in a situation where they're quarantined and no one can go in and go out. In a place like Vegas, a place like Orlando at Disney, you can do that. And that means even quarantining the hotel staff, you know, the cooks and the housekeepers and security and you name it. They all have been out of work. They'd love to go back to work if they can. And if everybody's safe and secure, then maybe we can pull this thing off.
Now, we watched The Last Dance. So Michael Jordan, I mean, we lived through that, Bob, you and I, so we know about all that. I mean, what an incredible, and he was always the roadblock for the Hawks. I mean, if they were able to get by somebody, here come the Bulls. I mean, that was always the tough thing for the Hawks, wasn't it?
It wasn't just the Hawks, Fred, as you know. Nobody could beat him once he got rolling. Once he got over that hump against the Pistons, there was no stopping Jordan. And the only time that you could beat him was when he left to go play baseball. But I'm looking forward to this weekend because in 96, 97, the Hawks and Bulls met in the playoffs. So I'm sure we'll see some of that. But it was an incredible time, and I've been mesmerized, as I think all basketball fans have been, with this documentary. It brings it all back.
Yeah, I remember the 62,000 in the Georgia Dome for that game against the Bulls. That was an incredible night as well. You know, one other thing, Bob, is the slam dunk competitions between Dominique and Michael Jordan. I mean, that was just, I mean, those two players, just an incredible show that those guys put on, I think. And I just think that, you know, Dominique sometimes maybe doesn't get his just due because, again, Jordan was right there for him.
Well, the one you're referring to is 1988 at Chicago Stadium, and I think there was some home cooking involved in that one. Nick loves to say that he won 4 dunk contests, but only got credit for 2. And one that was taken away from him was the one in Chicago. Nick, if you go back and watch, Nick was unbelievable. The next to last dunk before that last one from Jordan, Nick got a 50, and they had to almost downgrade him in the last dunk to allow the door to be opened for Jordan at the end. So it was great. The best part about it, though, Fred, no matter who won it, it was for the fans' benefit. The biggest stars on the biggest stage, putting on a great show. And, you know, we haven't seen that in the dunk contests in these later years, but back in the day, those guys weren't worried about, you know, their marketing and what it meant if they lost. They were doing it for the fans, and that was so refreshing.
It was cool, and all the older guys would be back there. Dr. J, the grand champion of it all. He was always back there. And I think it was just such an event. And that All-Star Weekend was just an event, is what I recall.
Well, it became bigger than the game. All-Star Weekend revolved around the dunk contest. And you had the 3-point contest and all that, but the big night, the highlight of the night was the dunk contest. And when you had stars like Neek and Michael going head to head like that, it was fantastic. It was just what the fans wanted, and they got a great show.
Hey, Bob, thanks so much for spending some time with us. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll be watching you doing a Hawks game here pretty soon.
Well, Fred, thank you. You stay safe too, and to everyone out there, stay safe, and we'll see you back at State Farm Arena when it's time.